Let's move on to some basketball, though. Like I said, we got a bunch of NBA and college basketball to talk about on Monday. In the NBA, I want to talk about a game that I'm kind of leaning on early. I'm not making this pick official yet, but I may find myself on it in the morning. Just got to sleep on this decision a little bit. The Charlotte Hornets plus 9.5 against the Sixers. Now, this game is in Philadelphia, and Philly has been the much hotter team to start the season than the Hornets. I'm not going to challenge that at all. Charlotte's 2-4, Philadelphia's 5-1. However, on Saturday, on Saturday, we saw Charlotte play Philadelphia in Philadelphia, and they lost by 15. Now, Charlotte hasn't had to travel since then. They got a day off in Philadelphia, a rest and relaxation day on Sunday, just like Philadelphia did. And it's very hard to beat a team 2 times in a row consecutively on your schedule, not just to mention over the season 2 times in a row, but 10 points. 10 points in back-to-back games, double-digit wins by the Sixers in back-to-back games. I don't know if I'm feeling that, so I'm leaning Charlotte plus 9.5, but I'm not pulling that trigger yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you're saying makes a lot of sense. It's tough to win in those situations, let alone win by double digits. So, I'm kind of with you on that one, Higgins, but I'm not gonna bet that game either.
Let's talk about a game that I am going to be on, though. Boston Celtics versus Toronto Raptors. I think this should be one of the better games on Monday, even though Toronto has been 1-4 so far this season, hasn't really performed as well as some teams have expected. But Boston's the underdog in this game. They're 3-point underdogs, and they've been the better team overall so far. So I'm going to take Boston money line on this, even though they are 4-3. I mean, they got Kemba Walker out. They've got Javante Green and Romeo Langford also out. But Patrick McCaw for the Toronto Raptors is out. So it'll be interesting to see how these early lineup mix-ups are going to affect this line. But I like Boston, a team that has already gone out and won more than once this season compared to Toronto, who hasn't won against the spread yet. So 3 points, that gave me the confidence to take Boston on the money line.
All right, fair enough, Higgins. Well, I'm gonna go to this Miami Heat Oklahoma City Thunder game. Both teams are actually 2-3 on the season, Higgins. So a little bit different than your game where one team's playing well and one team's not. Both these teams are kind of but I think this is a culture game for Miami here. I think when people talk about Heat culture, these are the type of games where they just come in, they take care of business, and they leave town with a W. And I think that's the case here. Minus 7.5 feels kind of light. I know Miami's a little beat up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Butler's going to be out in this one, Higgins. So, that may be why it's only 7.5. But again, I think Miami just comes in there, takes care of business, and gets the job done. Minus 7.5.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him listed on the injury report for Miami right now, but I know he has been on recently. Right now, Miami only has Gabe Vincent and Avery Bradley listed as day to day. However, maybe that would absolutely affect the line, so maybe a reason to jump in on it early tonight instead of Monday morning for you, Brett. We're not going to have this episode out in time for them to bet Sunday night, but
Right.
some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, here's where it comes in. He played in their last game, played 27 minutes. He was 0 for 6 from the field. 2 points, minus 18, plus minus for the night. So didn't play very well. So just a bounce back spot from Miami, honestly. I think the Thunder shipped out a lot of talent this offseason, Higgins, and the Heat think they're competing. Well, this is the spot where you prove it. You're at home. Your best players just come back. He needs to play well. So, I like Miami in this spot. I actually like him a little better knowing that Butler came back and he actually played pretty poorly. I think he'll be a little motivated.
Yeah, that all makes sense. All of those points make sense for sure. Speaking of a team that has something to play for, I think Atlanta, the Hawks, have a lot to play for this season. There's sense to prove themselves with this team, with the new pieces that they've brought together. And so far, they have played really well together. I mean, on offense, they have averaged 120 points per game. The Knicks aren't going to keep up with that. They just won't. It doesn't matter that Atlanta's allowed 112 points per game on defense. I don't think the Knicks will get to that either. They're only averaging just over 100 points per game at 101.7. So the Hawks, a team that's 4-1 against the spread, the Knicks 2-3 against the spread. I'll take the points. Atlanta -5.5 in a season that I think Atlanta just really needs to get off to a hot start early to try to be that surprise team in the East.
Yeah, I mean, something interesting that I've caught on to, Higgins, is the Knicks have actually started out their games really hot. So maybe like you bet the Knicks early in the game if you want to get really, crazy with it. You bet the Knicks in the first half or the first quarter, and then you take Atlanta to win. So, and you can even wait it out a little bit. Maybe the Knicks are up at the end of the first quarter and that line drops a little in your favor. But I totally agree with you, Higgins. I think Atlanta is going to end up winning that game at the end.
You are absolutely right on betting the Knicks early. Now, I'm trying to find the exact stat right now because I saw it last night. But the Knicks in the first quarter, I
Five
want
and
to
one.
say they're 5-1.
Yeah, 5-1.
So you saw the same stat as me. Yeah, 5-1 in the first quarter. Ride that train until it busts, I'd say. Might as well.
Yeah, no, they've been a really good team early, and I think it actually might be a spot where you buy in Atlanta, but you wait a little bit. You wait till that game tips off. You wait till the Knicks. Maybe they hit a few threes early. I don't know. Maybe they're leading after the first quarter, something crazy. But I'm with you. I don't think they're as talented as Atlanta. Um, and honestly, Atlanta's just flat out got the best player. So you always bet on the best player.
You have me thinking of maybe taking Atlanta before the game, and then depending how the Knicks do in that first quarter, see what that spread's like at the end of the first quarter, and double dip on the Hawks in a sense that they'd come back because that 5.5 might move to 1.5 depending on how well the Knicks come out.
Yeah, it's just something definitely something that I think of a lot where I'm like, is this going to be the best line? Could I get a better line? And I think that's a spot where the Knicks are actually like the perfect team where I don't think they're very good, but they come out and they pretend they're good for at least a quarter.
Very true, very true. Now there is one more game that you're going to be on in the NBA, right?
Yeah, I'm on one last game, the last game of the night, Kings Warriors all the way on the West Coast. Higgins, you mentioned it to me off air. I saw it as well. Marvin Bagley's dad sending out some controversial tweets, but I still like the Kings here, Higgins. They've played very well this year. Golden State hasn't really played so well this year. It took a buzzer beater to beat Chicago for their first win. They got rocked on Christmas Day versus Milwaukee, so I'm going to take the team that's trending in the right direction, Sacramento. I'm going to say, it's just some crazy dad tweeting. We've seen that before, and it's no big deal.
Someone with the last name Ball rings a bell a little bit when we talk about dads trying to speak on their sons' careers. But I agree. Sacramento -2.5. They're a 4-1 team against the spread, whereas Golden State's 2-3 against the spread. Now it's still early in the season. Those numbers don't necessarily mean a lot. At the moment, though, it just says who's hot and who's not. And the Kings and De'Aaron Fox are obviously coming out a little hotter than they have in years past. So Golden State's still working to put those pieces together. I like your pick. I'll probably stay away from that pick, partly because of our pillars, but also partly because I may end up finding myself on that lean that I mentioned of the Hornets plus 9.5. And if I do, that's 3 NBA games I'm already on. I don't need to pick a fourth.
Well, if the Knicks keep hitting threes, Higgins, and you keep doubling down on that Atlanta game, you're just going to run out of money.
That could happen too. That could happen too. We also